Okay. All right. Hey, everybody, this is your host, Christal Jordan with Rolling Out. And in the process of Black History Month, we are enjoying some amazing conversations. So I'm super excited to talk to today's guest. I've been wanting to talk to her for so long because her brand represents inspiration. Since we met Tabitha Brown, she has been inspiring us and encouraging us to tap into our vulnerability. And I think her vulnerability has allowed us to relate to her. And she has become a global superstar by that vulnerability. So yes. So with no further ado, thank you so much for joining us today, Miss Tabitha Brown.
Honey, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I said, your brand has been inspiration because I think that's what you have offered, people. And I don't think it's not just, just focused solely on, people of color or women of color. I think it's just people, period, that needed inspiration and need to feel like, there's someone else out there that could be going through something like I've went through. And I think you've managed to do that. But for this month, and specifically for Rolling Out, we're going to claim you as our own, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to claim you as our own and talk a little bit about this. Now, I love the fact that you have this new book, I Did a New Thing, because I feel like, we think about the first of the year, everyone thinks about like New Year's resolutions or what we can do. But when I got this information, I was like, this is great, because my New Year's wasn't that great. But I said, you know what? It's never too late to start over again. You can always do that. There are no confines or labels to when you should do that. So I would love to hear just from you, where did you get this idea to encourage people to start, do something for 30 days that is very different than what they are used to doing?
Well, I started doing this challenge in 2014. It was the first year I ever did it. I just kind of made it up. I was like, you know what? I want to do something new. And I don't know if I was in search of like trying to figure out who I was even more, because I was a new mom of two.
Okay.
And I was in LA, but was also had kind of moved into a different place of LA. And I just had been in such a routine that I was like, I need to do something new. I don't know what it is, but I think I was trying to get free, even though I was still afraid to be free.
Yeah.
And so I just started it back then, and I did some things with my children. I did some things on my own. And so over the years, and I loved how it made me feel. I loved it, like, it was something to look forward to every day that was different. Mm-hmm. And over the years, I would always do it every year. I would just, try to do something new. Like I'd take a month and say, you know what, be intentional, Tab, we're trying to do something new. Mm-hmm. And so this year, or last year rather, I was like, I'm going to do I Did a New Thing challenge, but I'm going to write the book. I'm going to journal the process, and I'm going to write it. And I hope it encourages other people to do it, because it really is freeing when you do it. Mm-hmm. You start to, but then you also start to realize how much of creatures of habit we are. Yes. You start to realize, like, I don't be out here doing much. I be doing the same thing. Because we do.
Yeah.
Which gets boring. And sometimes I think we don't realize how boredom shows up in us. Sometimes boredom turns into depression. Sometimes boredom turns into anxiety and sadness. And you don't even know why. You be like, I just don't feel good, because you're bored. Yeah. Sometimes you be bored, right? Depression is a real thing that can stem from many different things.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you're bored and you need to do something new with your life. Mm-hmm. You need to read a new book. Sometimes you need to take a new walk. Sometimes you need to wear a new hairstyle or a new outfit. Sometimes you need to go to a museum. It's so many people who've never been to a museum ever in their life. Go to a play. Go see a new movie, right? Speak to a stranger. Make a new friend. Sometimes you need to do something that changes or shifts us in the inside. So I wanted to share that. And I hope that people, they take the challenge and say, you know what, Tab, I'm going to do something new. It can be simple as trying a new lipstick color, huh?
Yes. I love that, because the subtitle of the book is 30 Days to Living Free. And you mentioned that, like, it's freeing. And I think sometimes, specifically women that are very successful or that are tapped in, you kind of start to think, this is who I am. And you don't realize that you can always change. I remember hearing a personal trainer tell me that you can change your DNA working out. You can be someone that was always, at this size, and you can decide, I don't want to do that, and actually retrain your brain and retrain your body. And that was amazing to me, because we get so stuck in thinking, well, this is just who I am and this is who I have to be, specifically as you get to a certain age. Sometimes it becomes scary because, you started to brand yourself. So I want to ask you about some of these. I'm going to start with one that I did. And it's funny because I made a change years ago. My therapist told me to do something that made me feel like a 5-year-old. And I did that. Yes. And I saw this in your book. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing. You said, do something that taps into your inner child. And that was my inner child. And so I went back and started riding horses again. And that was what I did. And it makes me feel like a 5-year-old little girl. I love it. And it helped me to deal with my mental health. So I want to ask you, let's start with that one. What do you think that people can get out of really tapping into their inner child that may not be a part of their everyday life?
Well, I think that the biggest thing when it comes to tapping into the inner child, when we were children, we are our most free. Yes. Until we're taught that we're not. Until we're taught fear, until we are taught no, until we're taught or influenced by adults around us when they project their insecurities on us.
Right.
But if we can tap back into before all of that happened, the 5-year-old in you who just was fearless and would try anything and be excited, that joy, we need that. That's what we discover again. We discover a childlike joy that shines so bright. It feels amazing. And it also, it helps you do more. Absolutely. You do it one time, you like, I need to do something else, like flying a kite. I used to love flying kites when I was a kid. Yeah. And then when my daughter was young, we used to fly kites, and I was like, let's fly kites this year. Right? Like, it is so much fun. It's so much fun to fly a kite, but it taps back in. Last night we had our my first book tour event in New Jersey, and we were talking about this part of the book where, because I have the cousins who also, wrote in their stories. She did the slide in the park. Yeah, it was her favorite thing to do, but it brought back all these great feelings, right? Yeah. And I said, you know what? I want to get on a seesaw. I used to love a seesaw. I said, I got to find me a park that has a seesaw. I love because it, the up, the down, the way it's. Yeah. I'm excited about it. I get excited about childlike energy. Yeah, I like that. And I think that's so needed. I think that's one of my favorites. I love going to Disneyland because I'm like, oh, you get to be a kid as an adult. Yeah. And I love going without my kids, with no children. So right. You want to have your fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to start with that one. I want to ask you for just a little bit on some of these that I thought were so good, because this really is a form of therapy. I think this is like giving yourself, I'm going to give this book to some of my girlfriends that are in a routine, right? And a lot of times that routine makes you successful, but it also keeps you stuck, right? And so let's talk about doing something that helps you find light in darkness. I love that. Yeah. I mean, we all kind of sometimes can go through a dark phase. And we need to be able to tap back in to find some type of light. I think in every bad situation, in every dark situation, when it comes to family and friends, relationships, things can get a little heavy, things can get a little dark, but we got to find the light in that. For me, I talked about like relationships and having a relationship with a group of friends that have always been my friends. But I felt it change, and it was very, heavy for me. And that's a dark period, and I was saddened by it. My heart still aches for it sometimes. Like, oh, I really hate that season ended. But what I also realized is that if I had kept holding on, even though I knew this was like tearing me apart, even though I knew it was getting darker and darker, I couldn't get the light that God had waiting for me. He was like, you're going to have to release that and allow these new friends or new people that are ready to be free and who also appreciate and respect your freedom. Right. These are the people I can let you have. Right. And then sometimes it's the walk alone that you need.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more work that needs to be done here to bring your light back. And so sometimes you got to look at whatever your situation is and say, okay, Lord, what are you trying to show me here
Yeah.
in this season that may be a little darker than normal? What are you trying to help me come out of? And how do I get back to my life that way? But I think we all deserve that, and that we're worthy of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. And that's something that most people can relate to. You know, a lot of times those childhood relationships, and life moves in seasons, and learning not to be sad over them, but realizing that God has something more amazing coming up. This is why I say you are just an inspirational icon, because I think, you know, the internet has so much on it that's dark, right? There's so much on it that's negative and so much. And I love the fact that you always come with a fresh perspective. And that is why people just gravitate to you so much, because it's just that, it's like that girlfriend in your head that you need. You know, Tabitha's going to tell you what you're doing. So speaking of that girlfriend in your head, do something that breaks the law, the rules, but honey, not the law. So let's talk about
right.
Honey,
We
not
can break
law,
some
but
rules,
break
don't
the
break the
rules.
law. Exactly. So I talk about this in the book, and people know, I have on black right now, but you know, it's like my merch.
Yes.
But I be wearing color. I love color. I love patterns. I love to be fun in my clothes. And I realized that, you know, wearing black all the time doesn't make me feel well. You know, I'm figuring out like how to wear black.
Yes.
I know I need a proper color, or I got to have a bag, like something got to make me feel right. And so I had got invited to this party with a very famous, you know, entertainer, and they were in the invite. It requested everyone wear black.
Okay.
I was like, Tab, don't be wearing the black, Lord. I don't feel right about this. I ain't even got all black outfit in my closet.
Okay.
So I kept going back and forth. I was like, I want to go to this event, but I also don't want to, you know, wear black. And so I said, I think I'm gonna have to break this rule. I'm gonna get as close to it as I can. I wore black pants. I wore some black bell bottoms.
Okay.
But I wore a jacket that had a little bit of black in it, but it had like tons of like vibrant but deep like colors. Burgundy, blue, gold, just, you know, and it was like satin. It had like big sleeves, and it had black buttons. Okay. So when I got there, I looked around, and it was other people not in black. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I'm so glad that I broke the rule there, because had I wore black and been uncomfortable all night, I would have been upset about that. Nice. But because I said, you know what, I'm gonna be as close as possible so that I'm still being respectful. But I gotta respect myself first if I'm gonna show up and go. Yeah. And so sometimes you can break the rules, honey, just don't break the law.
I like that, because a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves to fit in. I love even the fact that you have a great option of wearing black, but with all that color that you have, just with that freedom from code switching, because a lot of times you feel like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. And we put that on ourselves because of how we were taught, I mean, how we were raised, what area, what's, you know, what environment we were in. We put so many constraints on ourselves. So I love that. This is just so freeing. A couple more, do something that supports someone else. How can that be a blessing to you? I mean, obviously we know that, but I would love to hear your perspective on how people can actually help themselves and how it's therapeutic to you by doing something that benefits someone else totally.
That is like, I feel like that's my purpose in life, to do for others. I am a gifter by nature. Like, my love language is gifting. I love to gift. I love to make people feel thought about, to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel like, oh, somebody took time to think about me. Yeah. And I also, like, I have a show, Very Good Mondays, that I do every Monday, where I support small businesses, and with me and my brother Nick, or me and my daughter Choice. And people can send their products in, and we just showcase them, talk about them. I'll wear them. I love to bless people that way. It makes me feel good. And it also makes them feel good. It's like, baby, we doing things together, you know? And like I said before, you know, we're all sometimes going through things and nobody knows about, right? And so sometimes you can do something for somebody else that you don't know, or you have no idea what they're going through. And you just doing it because out of kindness. Right. But it shifts their energy. It helps them, you know, it gives them a little bit of light. you know, and it helps them feel better about whatever their situation may be.
Yeah.
And that's the best feeling in the world to me. I
Yeah.
love it. And I think that other people, you know, if you've ever, you know, given money to someone on the street, somebody homeless, or somebody behind you, if you've ever paid it forward and said, hey, take care of their stuff behind me, or you tell them, hey, your lunch is on me today.
Yeah.
People be like, no, you can't do that. No, I done did it. Yes, I can. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, it's a moment. It's also a way that now we can also have a conversation. Maybe nobody spoke to you today.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only person who showed you God's love today. What an amazing purpose. What an amazing opportunity, you know, to live in that space. I just love that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think, you know, so befitting. We're having this conversation, and we know that this is a month of Black History Month, and we know that it's what we do and what we're about is so much bigger than 1 month, but it is a great way to opportunity for us to give people their flowers. And that's just one of the things that we love about you, because you are someone that lives the idea of supporting other businesses, small businesses, women-owned businesses, just businesses and people's dream. You know, I think it's people supporting someone's business is more than just it's about supporting their dream, you know, and pushing that forward. And so we just want to thank you for being a person that shows up and just is a beautiful example of that. My last lesson from you that I'm going to ask you about today is do something or nothing with your hair. And you know, as Black women, that is a huge one.
Yes.
Because we're always trying to do something or trying to figure out or using our hair as an accessory or frustrated with it. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration for do something or nothing, which I like, with your hair.
Because it's exactly what you said. Sometimes, Sunday, I mean, you know, my hair, Donna got a whole personality, okay? But sometimes we put so much energy and thought into our hair that we can also get exhausted.
Absolutely.
So, girl, sometimes don't do nothing to it. Relax. Allow it to be whatever it is, honey. If you ain't got nowhere to go and nowhere to be, and you ain't got, don't put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Yeah.
But also do something new sometimes with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing right now for my book tour, every day I'm doing a new thing with my hair.
Wow.
So this is a new style I've never worn before. Yesterday was different, the day before that, and I'll do it every day for the next, 2 weeks. So I think it's exciting, it's fun, it makes you feel, differently. Sometimes you might, wear your hair straight. Sometimes you might wear it curly. Sometimes you might wear braids, a wig, whatever the case may be. But do it differently. Some days, you just want to switch it up. Do that. That's our business to do so. We can do that and see how it makes us feel. Absolutely.
I was looking, like, I've never seen her hair like that, but I don't know if she
That's
has.
Right.
I love it. Yes, I'm getting princess, I'm getting Nubian Princess Leia. That's what I'm getting.
Okay, very good, girl. Yes.
I love it. I love it. So you have been a best-selling #1 New York Times best-selling author for a while now. You have several other books, obviously seen, loved, and heard, Cooking from the Spirit and Feeding the Soul Because It's My Business. Out of those books, like I want to know what has been like the best feedback like that you've gotten. Obviously, you've taken us on a journey with eating healthy in a way that we can enjoy. But what is the biggest feedback that's blessed your soul that you've gotten from someone that's read one of those books? Can you share that with us?
The biggest and rewarding thing that I get from so many people is that when they read it, it feels like I'm talking directly to them. And it feels like a friend or it feels like a sister. But they also feel like they can be all right. Yeah. Or they can do it, whether it's feeding the soul, where they felt like I deserve freedom too, Tab. You know what? I am going to start shifting how I think and some things that I do. Or cooking from the spirit and trusting themselves more in the kitchen. Like, you know what? I don't need no actual measurements. I can cook from the spirit too, Tab. Yeah. And then with the journal, just because Seen, Love, and Heard is a journal, but it's kind of like a workbook journal. Them feeling like, oh, the way that I put it all together, oh, girl, this is easy. And it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like something I am excited to do. That is rewarding for me. Yeah. That it feels so personal. Yeah. So I love that. And I hope that this feels the same way. I did a new thing. I hope that, taking 30 days to open your mind, to bless yourself with trying something new, to discover something new that you may love or that you may not. but just to have a little fun doing so. I hope it encourages people to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And I think I looked at it, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna give this to my daughter, number one, my bestie, and some of my girlfriends." Like I said, that it becomes scary the older you get, and I almost think the more successful you get in one area, it's scary to try something that you may not be that successful and you don't know. Like, me starting horseback riding in my 40 was scary because I may fall. I was 5, I got on the horse and go. But it was freeing because it did allow me to recapture that. But I think this is a great thing that I look forward to gifting, my girlfriends and us sharing this with our readers and encouraging them to do it. It does seem a little bit challenging to do something new every day. What can you tell us about how do we scale that? Because sometimes we can overthink, right? Especially those type of personalities. So how do we take on this challenge without overthinking it and stressing ourselves out?
It can be as simple as a new lipstick, a new outfit, a different shirt, a different color, right? A new hairstyle, trying food. I even put those little tips in there, like today, try to eat something green or try something blue or whatever, and food is easy because a lot of people are very routine with how they eat and don't kind of, steer off from that. So, and if you ain't never tried, a certain vegetable or fruit, try that today, or a certain drink. Walk a different way, drive a different way to work or to pick the kids up or whatever the case may be. Speak to a stranger. Those things that are kind of scary to some people, face that fear, but it doesn't have to be something huge and you don't have to overthink it. You can just do something simple. I don't know. And this is crazy because I remember when I used to wear my hair long and straight, I always wore my part in the middle.
Yeah.
And I remember the time that I decided to wear my part on the side. I was like, oh, this is giving something different. It made me feel different. Down the middle, I always felt like this is my hippie phase. On the side, I felt like, oh, I'm giving like sexy mama. So
a little deeper there.
Yeah. But if I didn't switch it up out of routine, then I would have never known, how I feel. So I say, don't overthink it. Little things. Look, read a new book. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Even if it's a new chapter every day, it's still something new.
Absolutely. I like that. Let me ask you this, because you have gone, like you said, from being someone that was doing this just out of your own inspiration, probably as therapy for yourself, to being a best-selling author, having a television show, having a line in Target. Sis, I love your fashion line. It's just amazing to see the trajectory of what you've been able to do based on inspiring others. And I just want to ask you, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned about people as you've gone from being just Tabitha that was to Tabitha and her family and friends to Tabitha that now, can walk places and is seen as a celebrity and is seen as someone that people feel a comfort and intimacy with. So they feel like they know you, I'm sure, when they see you because of how.
Yeah, they do.
So what have you learned? What has been your biggest lessons as you've experienced your life changing in such a beautiful way over the last few years?
It's been great and then it's not so great, right? With some people that I know, personally, what I realize is everyone is not ready for freedom.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, the majority of us desire it. We just don't want to get it. And I represent that. Yeah. And that's why I feel like people are so drawn to me, because they want it, and they are inspired by freedom. And I love the fact that I have created a brand of just being myself that makes people feel like we're family. So when I meet people, they be like, Tab, like we cousins and sisters, or, and I'd be like, now tell me your name because you know me, but I don't know you. I need to know you too, But I'm grateful that I've been able to do that just being myself. Yeah. But I also have learned that everybody desires love. Everybody desires love. They want to feel love. They want to be seen. They want to be heard, right? They want to be thought of. And that's the biggest thing that I get from people. People always say, Tab, you make me feel like you really love me. And I do. I love people. I believe in people. I feel like we all have something great to offer in this world. And so I'm going to keep on loving the people.
I love that. Well, I gotta ask you this about, because we know that you've shared about your relationship, which to me, as a person that recently got married, I love seeing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Girl, oh, it was a long season of singleness. But I was blessed with an amazing man. But I think we need to see real examples of Black love. And so I appreciate you being honest about the reality of what it takes being in a relationship. And you got some, backlash, but I was like, she's just being real. Like, she started out with this man, he held her down, and now she's happy to hold him down. And that really is how love should be. And I think people have an idea that's not reality. And so what do you say to that? Because I think even Michelle Obama gave an example and people are like, no, that's not. I'm like, no, these women are talking from experience. It is that. So what advice would you give people that want to be in relationships? Like you said, everybody wants to be loved, even if it's not even with a significant other. It could just be you want good relationships. What advice would you give people about how the reality of a relationship, which is not going to be good every day? It's not going to be sunshine every day.
That's right. I think the easiest way to put it is that in any relationship, whether it's friendship or relationship, husband, wife, whatever the case may be, you are both going to change. And we have to be ready and willing to accept that. You're going to change. It's inevitable. And you also will not change at the same time. And you got to be all right with that.
Yeah.
A good friend, a good partner respects that. They respect the change, and they're patient, they're understanding. Even when they don't understand, they try to. That's what makes a great relationship, and that's what makes it successful.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you so much. We so appreciate your time. And most importantly, we appreciate your example. That is what, all of us may not be able to touch you or meet you, but we all have access to the example that you're setting. And that is why we're so excited about honoring you this month. And talking about your book, spreading the word about your book. Before I let you go, I would love for you to give a message to our readers. We know that rolling out, we are Tabitha Brown fans around this way. And we definitely look forward to continuing to push this with you and hopefully work with you more in the future. But I would love to just have you give our readers and our followers a direct message from Miss Tabitha Brown.
Oh, I love that. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all. And listen, y'all know y'all were the first ones, like one of the first to give me like a nice feature, and I have forever loved y'all for it. So thank you. I would just say, whatever it is that you may be, I guess whatever season you may be in, right? Whether that is a season of change, a season of financial hardship, a season of relationships being a little rocky, a season of feeling stuck.
Yeah.
It's still your season to have, right? But seasons, as I just said before, will change. And so lean into it and ask God, what is it I'm supposed to learn in this season? Even if it may not feel well, it was still designed for you, because it will help you later, right? It'll make sense later. One day you'll be able to look back and be like, Lord, remember that season. But now I can know this, or now I can do this because of that. So stay encouraged and keep loving yourself. And also try to do some new things for yourself. Yes.
Do things. Make sure you guys pick up a copy of this book now. I did a new thing, 30 days to living free, from our sister Tabitha Brown. Thank you so much. And we look forward to continuing to support you in your season of success. Thank you, Tabitha.
Thank you, hon. It was nice to meet you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.